We live in an era obsessed with control. We try to predict the weather, the stock market, traffic, our boss's moods, and the reactions of everyone around us. Yet, the harder we try to grasp external things, the more exposed we become to anxiety, frustration, and emotional chaos. We turn ourselves into dry leaves, helplessly swept away by the winds of circumstance. More than 2,000 years ago, in the crowded streets of Rome and Athens, a group of thinkers discovered that true peace is not found by altering the outside world, but by transforming the landscape within. They did not seek to eliminate emotions, but to understand them. They did not run away from problems, but used them as fuel for their own growth. Today, we are going to explore a practical and profound guide through the core pillars of Stoicism. This ancient philosophy is not a rigid set of rules, but a survival manual for the human psyche. Throughout this reflection, we will discover how three great figures, a slave who became a master, an emperor who ruled the known world, and an imperial advisor who experienced both immense wealth and exile, left us the definitive tools to maintain our composure when everything around us seems to be falling apart. Lesson number 1, the dichotomy of control. To build an unshakable mind, the Stoics established a rule that serves as the cornerstone of their entire philosophy. Epictetus, who spent a massive part of his life in the shackles of slavery and knew exactly what it meant to not own his physical destiny, defined it with crystal clarity. The premise is deceptively simple. Reality is split into two strict categories. On one side, there are things that are up to us. On the other, things that are completely beyond our influence. In the first group, we find our thoughts, our intentions, our values, and the way we choose to react. In the second group lies absolutely everything else. The economy, sickness, other people's opinions, the past, and the choices of other human beings. Human suffering almost always stems from the exact same mistake: investing our energy, time, and health into the second group, foolishly expecting reality to conform to our desires. To illustrate this, Stoicism uses a beautiful metaphor: the archer. An archer can select his bow with utmost care, pull the string back with millimeter precision, take a deep breath, and aim at the center of the target with all his skill. Up until the very second the arrow leaves his fingers, everything is under his control. But once that projectile flies through the air, the archer no longer holds power over it. A sudden gust of wind, a bird flying by, or an unexpected movement of the target can steer the arrow off course. The Stoic archer does not measure his success or his self-worth by hitting the dead center of the target, but by the excellence and focus with which he drew his bow. His inner peace does not depend on the outcome, but on the honest, rigorous effort he poured into the process. Lesson number 2, understand the transitory nature of life. This release of attachment to the final result is perfectly complemented by a profound insight that the Emperor Marcus Aurelius carved into his personal journals. The emperor looked at his vast empire and constantly reminded himself that everything we know is caught in a permanent flux, an eternal cycle of transformation. Times of economic prosperity, harsh crises, moments of deep joy, and seasons of intense pain are, by definition, fleeting. Recognizing impermanence is not an invitation to pessimism or indifference. Quite the contrary. When you truly understand that a difficult moment will pass, you develop the patience to endure it. And when you understand that a beautiful moment will also end, you learn to savor it with a level of presence that most people lose because they are constantly worrying about the future. To comprehend transience is to learn to flow with the river of existence rather than exhausting ourselves trying to swim upstream. Lesson number 3, choose your response. Once we manage to shield our minds by separating the controllable from the fleeting, we face the challenges of daily life. It is here that Stoicism grants us our greatest superpower. We tend to believe we are direct victims of what happens to us. We say things like, "This traffic is putting me in a bad mood," or "That comment ruined my day." Epictetus challenged this logic entirely by stating that it is not external events that upset us, but the judgments and interpretations we form about those events. Between the external stimulus and our emotional reaction, there is a blank space. A tiny millisecond where our ultimate freedom resides. People who are slaves to their impulses react instantly. An insult breeds anger. An obstacle breeds complaints. The Stoic practitioner, however, uses that space to breathe and question their own thoughts. They ask themselves, does this event damage my moral character? Does it stop me from acting with justice or wisdom? If the answer is no, then the external event lacks the power to disturb their inner peace unless they choose to open the door themselves. Lesson number 4. The power of acceptance. This capacity for response is directly nourished by the Stoic concept of acceptance. And here, a crucial distinction must be made. Acceptance is not resignation. Resignation is passive. It is the attitude of someone who gives up and embraces the role of the victim. Stoic acceptance, conversely, is an act of pure realism and courage. It means looking reality squarely in the face, no matter how harsh, and saying, "This is what is happening right now." Crying won't alter the past. Shouting won't modify the facts. Now, what am I going to do about it? Marcus Aurelius, who had to govern Rome amidst political betrayals, border wars, and a devastating plague, used acceptance as a filter for his mind. Instead of burning out lamenting the crises, he accepted them as the conditions of the chessboard he was dealt. Acceptance is the starting point of intelligent action. Only when you stop fighting the fact that it is raining do you focus your energy on finding an umbrella or learning to walk in the rain with dignity. Lesson number 5. Practice mindfulness. To prevent these ideas from staying as abstract theories, the Stoics developed very specific daily habits. The first of these is the practice of fully inhabiting the present moment. Seneca, a man who lived deeply entangled in the high-stakes intrigues of Roman politics, repeatedly warned against the danger of a scattered mind. We spend half of our lives regretting past mistakes or planning how to fix the ones we are making now, and the other half suffering over future scenarios that will likely never happen. By doing this, we turn our minds into a time machine that only generates anguish. Stoic mindfulness is an anchor. It reminds us that the past no longer exists and the future is a mere hypothesis. The only territory where you actually have the power to act, to be virtuous, and to breathe is the here and now. When you focus entirely on the task right in front of you, whether it is an important business meeting, a conversation with your child, or even washing the dishes, the noise of fear and regret falls silent. The simplicity of the present becomes a sanctuary of tranquility. Lesson number 6. Cultivate resilience. From this absolute presence, the ability to confront adversity with unwavering fortitude is born. For Stoics, adversity is not a punishment from destiny. It is a gymnasium for the soul. Epictetus used to say that problems are the way life tests us to see what we are truly made of. Just as fire tempers steel and a chisel sculpts marble, the hardships of life are the necessary tools to shape our character. When you shift your perspective and stop viewing problems as threats, beginning instead to see them as teachers, your relationship with suffering changes completely. A failed project is no longer an absolute tragedy, but an advanced lesson on how not to do things. A betrayal or a romantic heartbreak transforms into a golden opportunity to practice forgiveness and emotional independence. The Stoic does not beg life for a comfortable, problem-free existence. They ask for the mental fortitude to stand tall no matter how hard the storm hits. Lesson number 7. The value of gratitude. The fuel that sustains this fortitude is the practice of being thankful. Seneca insisted that human dissatisfaction does not come from having little, but from always wanting more. Stoic gratitude is a radical exercise in perspective. It does not mean giving thanks only when everything goes perfectly, but learning to appreciate the hidden wealth in the ordinary, everyday things we so easily take for granted. Health, a roof over our heads, food on the table, or the simple opportunity to open our eyes every morning. When you train your mind to focus on what you do have, you swap a scarcity mindset for one of abundance. Gratitude allows you to find serenity even on the grayest days, because it reminds you that despite any hardship, life keeps offering reasons to be thankful. Lesson number 8. Limit excessive desires. Reaching this point, we realize that Stoicism is not a temporary relief technique, but a lifelong blueprint. To support this structure, Seneca invites us to practice moderation by curbing the tempestuous desires that threaten our inner calm. Unchecked desire is a trap. The more you acquire, the more you need just to maintain the same level of satisfaction, making you a slave to your own belongings. By setting intelligent limits on our material ambitions, we reclaim our freedom and discover that true wealth does not consist of multiplying our possessions, but of minimizing our needs. Lesson number 9, be virtuous. The second principle is the absolute core of the entire philosophy, living with virtue. For the Stoics, virtue is the operational excellence of a human being, and it is divided into 4 cardinal qualities. First is wisdom and intelligence, the ability to discern what is good, bad, and indifferent, allowing us to see the world as it truly is through the lens of reason. Second is courage, the willpower to do the right thing even when it is terrifying. Third is justice, the constant will to act with kindness, equity, and respect for the community. And fourth is temperance, the self-control ensuring we are not swept away by our impulses. Placing virtue as the central axis of your life means your inner compass is perfectly calibrated, creating an internal coherence that no external factor can ever take away. Lesson number 10, keep learning and growing. Finally, for this virtue to stay alive, a commitment to continuous learning is indispensable. Epictetus reminded us that it is impossible to learn what we think we already know. The Stoic path is a constant evolution. We are not born strong, wise, or resilient. We become so through daily self-examination, reflective reading, and the willingness to correct our errors with humility. Every single day is a blank page to design a slightly better, more polished version of ourselves. The world of the 21st century is not all that different from the Roman Empire in which Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius walked. We still face uncertainty, loss, criticism, and drastic changes that completely escape our control. The grand lesson that Stoicism leaves us is that we cannot control the cards life deals us, but we are solely responsible for deciding how we are going to play them. Serenity is not the absence of chaos on the outside. It is the presence of order and clarity on the inside. When you apply the dichotomy of control, when you accept reality in order to transform it, when you inhabit the present with gratitude, and when you choose to act with virtue, you build a rock-solid anchor within yourself. An internal force that allows you to look adversity dead in the eye, take a deep breath, and keep your composure, with the absolute certainty that no matter what happens out there, you remain the sole sovereign of your own mental world. From this day forward, whenever you feel the storm tightening around you, remember the words of the ancient sages. Adjust your bow, focus on your intention, embrace the present moment, and remember that true peace is never sought outside. It is always cultivated from within.